Your struggle didn't start with you, and that changes everything. Have you ever felt like you're fighting an invisible battle? A weight on your shoulders that you can't quite explain? A pattern of struggle that repeats no matter how hard you try to break free? You might blame yourself. You might think, what's wrong with me? Why can't I get this right? But what if the enemy you've been fighting was never where you were told to look? For so many of us, our daily struggles feel intensely personal. We see them as our failures, our shortcomings, but this is one of the greatest illusions we've been taught. The truth is, much of the suffering we experience today isn't random, and it certainly isn't a reflection of our worth. It's inherited. It's a story that began long before we were born. We carry burdens we did not create. We grapple with anxieties, limitations, and conflicts that are echoes of the past. This isn't about personal failure. It's about a generational story that has been left unfinished. The universal law of cause and effect doesn't just apply to individuals in a single lifetime. It flows across generations. And the first step toward true justice, the first step toward freedom, is to correctly identify the source. It's time to stop blaming the victim, especially when the victim is you. The real battle isn't with yourself. It's with something much, much older. Think of it like this. Some debts are passed down simply because they were never paid. When our ancestors avoided accountability for their actions, when they managed to escape the natural consequences of the harm they caused, that energy didn't just disappear. Universal law doesn't forget. Justice that is delayed is not justice that is cancelled. It's simply deferred. So where does that unresolved energy go? It flows. It flows through bloodlines, through family systems, and through the very patterns of our lives. When a bill comes due, long after the guilty are gone, it lands in the lap of the next generation. We, the descendants, inherit the environment shaped by those past wrongs. We live in the house they built, whether its foundations are solid or cracked. It's crucial to understand that this isn't punishment. You're not being punished for something your great-grandfather did. Instead, think of it as an issue of unresolved balance. It's a spiritual and energetic imbalance that continues to seek resolution. Nature always seeks equilibrium. A debt that was never settled will continue to send out ripples until it is finally acknowledged and balanced. The consequences of past actions, of harm done, of justice denied, become the landscape of our present reality. The bill has arrived, and it's addressed to us. This brings us to the very heart of the matter, the emotional core of this entire struggle. The feeling that says, I didn't commit the crime, but I live with the sentence. It's a deeply painful and confusing place to be. You look at your life, at the drama, the poverty, the constant conflict, the limitations that seem to block your every move. And you know, deep in your soul, that you are not the original cause. You live with the consequences of a story you didn't write. This is where so many people feel lost and invalidated. Society tells us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, but it doesn't acknowledge that some of us were born without boots. The pain of being an innocent descendant carrying the weight of the past is real. Innocence does not always equal exemption. When the system is broken, it doesn't matter if you're a good person operating within it. You will still experience the effects of that brokenness. Energy is inherited just like physical traits are. Unacknowledged pain, unresolved injustice. This energy doesn't just fade away. It repeats itself, seeking to be seen, to be heard, to be validated. It will manifest in the next generation and the next, until someone is finally brave enough to turn around and look at it. That is why the very first act of justice, the first step toward healing, is recognition. It's the simple, powerful act of acknowledging the truth. This pain is real, it is valid, and it did not start with me. So if it's not me, then who is my enemy? We've been conditioned to look for an enemy in a person. We blame our family, we blame our parents, we blame society, or, most often, we blame ourselves. But the real enemy is not a person. My enemy is unresolved justice. Let that sink in. The true adversary is not your mother or your father. It's not a specific group of people. The enemy is the cycle itself. It is the pattern of harm. It is the silence that allows injustice to fester. It is the denial that pretends nothing ever happened. It is the unacknowledged wrongdoing that continues to poison the well from which we all must drink. When we misdirect our energy into hatred for our family, hatred for ourselves, we are actually feeding the very cycle we want to escape. We are pouring our life force into the problem, not the solution. Hatred just deepens the grooves of the old patterns. But awareness, true, honest awareness, is the tool that dismantles these inherited chains. When you can look at the situation clearly and see that the enemy is the unfinished business of justice, you stop fighting people and you start resolving patterns. You take your power back from the conflict and redirect it toward completion. You're no longer a victim in a family drama. You become a pioneer of justice. This leads us to the most important question of all. How do I end what I did not begin? The answer might surprise you. You don't break the cycle by fighting it. You don't break it with anger or resistance, or by trying to run away from it. You break the cycle by completing it. What does that mean? It means you become the generation that pays the bill. Not with money, but with consciousness. First, you acknowledge the truth without shame or self-condemnation. You look at the patterns, the inherited pain, the injustices passed down, and you say, I see this. It is real. You don't have to carry the guilt, but you must carry the awareness. Second, you make a conscious choice to refuse to repeat the same moral errors. Where there was deceit, you choose honesty. Where there was harm, you choose to act with integrity. Where there was denial, you choose to face the truth. You don't have to fix the past, but you are responsible for your actions in the present. Finally, you commit to living your life in alignment with justice and truth. This isn't about some grand, dramatic gesture. It's in your daily choices. It's how you treat yourself, how you treat others, and the integrity you bring to your life. Bidoin these you metabolize. The inherited pain, you transform the toxic energy into wisdom. You become the end of the line. The debt stops with you, because you are the one who finally brings balance. You are not cursed. You are not the enemy. You are the solution justice has been waiting for. If this message resonated with you, like this video and subscribe to Time for Justice. And if you're ready to become the generation that finally ends the cycle, join our course. Thank you for watching.